Coming up on Good Morning Longhorns, 2 major Texas initiatives derailed by federal budget cuts. What you need to know locally.
And it's been a year of nonstop leadership changes on the 40, a review of who's in and out and what vacancies remain.
Yesterday was Earth Day, a look at how students and faculty are fighting to preserve a campus ecosystem.
Plus, it was the Barbie movie 2 summers ago, and now there's a pop-up cafe here in Austin. How long you have to go check it out.
Later, graduation season is upon us, and for UT senior and photographer Kylie Francis, she's double booked. She's here in studio to talk all things senior pictures.
And it is our final show of the semester and our last ever. One last time, we're looking back on our memorable TSTV mornings. All this and more right here, right now on Good Morning Longhorns. For this Wednesday, April 23rd, I'm Logan Dubois.
And I'm Paulina Pearson. Thanks for joining us this last morning.
This feels crazy. I can't believe it's the last show. We've been at this a while, and now it's all kind of coming to a close.
This is like kind of full circle of us. Yeah, I was literally saying last week that was my last time, but just kidding. This is my last time. This is actually the last show of the semester, which is just crazy to think about.
Yeah, crazy to think we've been doing this for a couple years, and here we go. So as always, we'll get to all the sad stuff in a little bit, but starting off with the news as we always do, the Catholic Church is mourning the recent death of Pope Francis, the first Latin American pope, which happened just hours after his last public appearance for Easter Mass in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican. The long process to select a new pope happens after Pope Francis' funeral and 9 days of mourning. In the meantime, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, former bishop of Dallas, will be the Catholic Church's interim manager. The senior Vatican official was the one to announce Pope Francis' death and was nominated for his position by the Pope in 2019. Pope Francis' funeral will be held in St. Peter's Square on Saturday morning local time.
And a group of around 25 student protesters gathered at the tower yesterday evening to demand that UT divest from interests and companies in the fossil fuel industry. The protest, organized by students fighting climate change, coincided with Earth Day. Protesters walked into interim President Jim Davis's office to deliver a petition that has gained almost 750 signatures.
Plans to build a high-speed rail line between Dallas and Houston have hit a roadblock. The Trump administration cut the over $60 million grant for the project last week. This means that Texas Central Railway would need to be fully funded from the private sector. The project started in 2013 and, if built, would give Texans a way to get from just 2 cities in 90 minutes. Construction for the line is estimated to cost more than $40 billion.
And that's not the only way the effects of federal funding cuts are felt here in Central Texas. The administration has cut over $1 billion in funding from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, canceling deliveries of meals to the Central Texas Food Bank. The food bank, which serves more than 93,000 families monthly, expects to cancel 716,000 meals. Combined with higher prices of groceries, the food bank also predicts a decrease in donations of meats, dairy, and fresh produce. The food bank and its partners are urging continued donations, as 1 in 6 Central Texans are food insecure.
Simultaneously, the Austin City Council approved funds to increase resources for college food pantries. Over $1,000 in funds will be given to the Central Texas Food Bank over the next year to provide to universities. Here on the 40, it'll help the UT Outpost, a free on-campus food pantry available for all currently enrolled students. The Outpost says they will use the funds to increase the supply they receive.
And Shein and Temu, 2 companies known for the low prices of their products, announced prices are on the rise for U.S. customers, and that's due to Trump's 145 tariff imposed on China. The companies were previously able to evade duties on imports to the states through a tax exemption called de minimis. That allowed shipments under $800 to cross borders duty-free. Beginning May 2nd, however, the administration is ending that loophole. Having faced previous criticisms for unsustainable practices of fast fashion, Shein and Temu will now be subject to all tariff fees.
Crowds gathered at the Texas Capitol on Saturday to condemn the actions of the Trump administration. It's part of the nationwide call for action by the 50-51 movement. Instead of a traditional protest, however, a coalition of organizations hosted a picnic on Capitol grounds. The event featured live music, speakers, and chants. Take a look.
We believe that protesting is important, yes, but your community is also just as important. And getting to connect with other communities that share your views, that's what we're doing today.
As with other 50-51 protests, a variety of causes were represented, including women's rights, Palestine, and transgender rights. The group is planning another demonstration in Austin for May Day on May 1st.
And up north in Frisco, another protest took place. This one, though, led to more controversy. A group named Protect White Americans organized the rally in response to a stabbing at a track meet, a story we brought to you 2 weeks ago. The group claimed the fatal stabbing was an act of racial violence. During the protest, organizers spoke to the victim's father over the phone, who disapproved of the politicization of his son's death. Counter-protesters were also present at the rally, condemning racist posts and threats made online towards the accused individual.
And back to the legislature. With the legislative session roughly 6 weeks from concluding, we're watching a number of developments on bills that could affect Austin and UT students directly. SB 2, which establishes a voucher program for Texas private schools, passed the House and looks likely to pass the Senate, both over Democratic opposition. SB 3, which bans THC, a key component in cannabis and marijuana, passed the Senate and is currently in the House, likely to be voted on in the coming weeks. And then finally, SB 22 provides financial incentives for film production in Texas, though those incentives are given at the discretion of the governor under the bill. SB 22 passed the Senate and is currently under consideration in the House. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on these and many other bills. We'll continue to have coverage for you on the remainder of the session over at tstvnews.com.
The House is set to hear legislation this week that aims to establish the Dementia Prevention and Research Institute of Texas. If successful, DPRIT would provide $3 billion in funding for dementia research over the next 10 years. A researcher here at UT says the benefits could include new care options for dementia patients.
Availability of grants at the state level will mean a lot of new resources to promote the kind of work that we do, and really to create lots of new opportunities for people living in the state of Texas to participate in research.
Before the institute and fund can be established, it will also need to be approved by Texas voters through a constitutional amendment.
In the state's tentative budget, which awaits a vote by the Texas Senate, UT could see some cuts. The initial draft for the next 2 years cuts UT's funding for salaries and wages by $65 million. That continues a decline despite an overall increase in positions. The bill could still be changed as deliberations unfold. It also applies only to the funds allocated by the state, which accounts for roughly 10% of UT's overall budget. And of course, it has been a busy year of leadership changes here at the university.
Our Gracie Kirshner is here to break down who's in, who's out, and what positions still need to be permanently filled. Good morning, Gracie.
Good morning, guys. Certainly a lot of change happening on campus. Over the last year, at least 7 other top leaders have left the school. This means there's a lot of new hires and a lot of open positions. Now, the most notable, President Jay Hartzell's resignation in January to become the new president of SMU. Now, in February, Jim Davis took over as interim president, ending Hartzell's tenure months earlier than expected. On his first day in charge, he named David Vandenbout the new provost, replacing Rachel Davis Mercy just weeks after she was appointed. Vandenbout was the dean of the College of Natural Sciences, which then appointed Andreas Matashek as the new man in charge. The College of Liberal Arts will be getting a new dean in August, after the university decided not to renew the current dean's contract for a second term. There was also a restructuring in the Market and Communications Department, which included a demotion of their senior VP and elimination of the vice president for campus and community engagement position. On top of all of that, the vice president for research will step down in August. That's all for now, but we'll be sure to keep you updated on the changes when GMLH is back in August. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Gracie. And big news for 3 UT professors who have been recognized for their work in the academic fields. The Guggenheim Foundation has named computer science professor Swat Chadari, physics professor Feliciano Gustino, and studio art professor Eli Durst to its 100th class of fellows. The grants will help awarded faculty pursue projects in their respective disciplines. Out of the nearly 3,500 applicants this year, only 198 received fellowships.
The Nueces Mosque held its 2nd annual flea market on Sunday, fundraising for future renovations for the nearly century-old building. The main attraction was a thrift pop-up where students could buy clothes donated to the mosque. Over 10 different vendors, most current or former Longhorns, set up shop at the market with products including calligraphy and matcha. Take a look.
It's a community event at the end of the day. Yeah, it's hosted by the mosque, but it's not just a Muslim-only thing. It's a UT thing.
Around 500 to 600 people came to the market, according to organizers, a big increase compared to last time, and they hope to keep the tradition going in future years.
And the Malibu Barbie Cafe is in Austin until June 15th. The pop-up event is inspired by Malibu, California in the 1970s. Main attractions include photo opportunities, roller skating, and cafe-style dining. The menu is curated by Chef Becky Brown, a Master Chef finalist. Visitors receive a $10 food credit and a $5 merch credit as a part of the $25 entry fee. And when we come back, your weekly weather forecast, and there was a Lyrid meteor shower seen in Central Texas. Shooting stars and more coming your way.
Welcome back to Good Morning Longhorns. The Lyrid meteor shower, also known as the April Lyrids, will be visible across central Texas. The phenomena usually occurs between April 15th and 29th, and the peak was this Monday. In an area with clear skies and no light pollution, viewers could see up to 20 shooting stars during the peak. The AccuWeather forecast says the viewing conditions in Austin are fair, so it might be worth taking a peek at the sky over the next couple of days. And the week started out hot, but some storms are set to roll in and hopefully bring some cooler temperatures. We had a little bit of rain this morning on the way here.
Yeah, I know. That was interesting. To dive deeper into your local forecast, joining us on set is our Itza Martinez. Good morning, Itza.
Good morning, you guys, and good morning to you guys here at Good Morning Longhorns. And I just have to say real quick that it's really hitting me that this is our last morning and our last show. So feeling very, it feels like a very much of a full circle moment. This is exactly how I started, 4 years ago. The first time I got on air for Good Morning Longhorns was here at the Weather Center. So I'm going to finish exactly where I started. And speaking of the rain, it looks like some rain and humidity are here to stay. However, we are expecting wind and slight cloud coverage as we head into the weekend. Looking ahead, we should expect partly cloudy skies and a few AM showers with temperatures ranging from the low 70s to high 80s. Today we will have a high of 84 and a low of 71 with scattered thunderstorms. Tomorrow we will have a high of 88 and low of 69 with morning showers. And looking at the weekend, Friday is expected to have a high of 86 with mostly cloudy skies, and Saturday and Sunday are still expected to have temperatures nearing the 90s, although there is a likely chance of rain. So definitely a perfect recipe for humidity. Stay cool this weekend, Longhorns, and for one last time in the Weather Center, I'm Itza Martinez.
All right, Itza, thank you very much. And starting near the Highland Mall and flowing into Lady Bird Lake, nearly 11% of Austin's Waller Creek stretches through the east side of campus. The creek is home to many forms of campus wildlife, but who's making sure it's protected?
And with Earth Day yesterday, our Joseph Sweeney brings us more on those working to protect this natural ecosystem.
Passing by, you may not think much of Waller Creek on your way to your dorm, class, or Longhorn sporting event.
What here is natural and has been here before us and will be here after us, and how can we take care of it?
But for sustainability senior Olivia Navarro, Waller Creek is more than just a cool spot to get away from the Texas heat.
I think it's really important just to appreciate the nature that we do have around us.
Navarro is the co-director of the Campus Environmental Center, one of the many groups dedicated to keeping Waller Creek clean. Because beyond just acting as a home for campus wildlife, Navarro and others say this creek is an integral part of Longhorn culture.
Doing creek cleanups, ensuring that we respond to any kind of illicit discharges on our campus.
While student groups like the CEC and Longhorns Don't Litter host regular creek cleanups, Nina Anderson, Director of Environmental Safety, says her office identifies litter along the creek to be properly recycled, composted, or sent to a landfill.
We've identified lead acid batteries on the creek bank, so anything like that we recycle and dispose of within environmental health and safety.
And while both Anderson and Navarro see the creek as central to UT's natural ecosystem, Sustainability Director Jim Walker adds that Waller Creek is core to the university's history as well.
When you go back to the master plans from the 1930s, you see Waller Creek having a very central identity to the whole main campus.
And beyond even that, Navarro finds the watershed to be a fun place for studying or just a place to relax.
There's definitely a large population of students who are kind of unaware of it, and I don't even necessarily think it's the students' fault. It's because it's kind of hidden and tucked away.
Joseph Sweeney, TSTV News.
I can't really get it.
Thanks, Joseph. Shifting gears to Texas football, kicker Bert Auburn has entered the transfer portal with 1 year of eligibility remaining. Auburn announced his decision via X last Thursday. He had some struggles at the end of last season, missing 2 important kicks during the SEC championship. Junior Will Stone replaced Auburn at the starting kicker throughout the remainder of the postseason.
And you've seen him put on the hook of mascot head many times over the years in betting on Texas. ESPN's College Game Day will be missing an icon this season. Coach Lee Corso is retiring after nearly 4 decades on the show. Coaching college and pro football 28 years before transitioning to broadcasting, Corso started his journey with the show back in 1987. His final game day will be August 30th. That is the first week of the season and shortly after his 90th birthday. Moving from college football to the NFL, the draft starts this Thursday and runs through Saturday, and there are many Longhorns with hopes to make it to the big leagues. Wide receiver Matthew Golden was one of 16 prospects invited to attend the event in Green Bay.
Golden, as well as Kelvin Banks Jr. and Jahdae Barron, are projected to go in the first round, according to ESPN. Quinn Ewers, who is not a top prospect, is expected to get picked in the middle rounds on Friday. And from on the field to on the courts, Texas women's basketball will be experiencing some roster changes next season. Junior Jakalenga Wintonda has entered the transfer portal. Wintonda was a key player for Texas during the March Madness tournament, starting 2 out of the 5 postseason games following her outstanding performance against Illinois in the second round of the tournament, scoring 19 points. Junior Jordana Cordillo and sophomore Abby Boudelier have also entered the transfer portal.
After the break, UT senior and photographer Kylie Francis joins us in studio to talk about her photography business and taking the perfect senior snapshots as graduation gets closer. I can't believe it. We'll be right back.
If you've been on campus any evening this month, you've probably seen it crowded with soon-to-be UT graduates taking their graduation photos.
Today we're joined by someone who not only captures these moments, but is graduating herself. UT senior and photographer Kylie Francis. Kylie, thank you so much. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit how you got involved in your photography business and what drew you to start it?
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of always have been interested in photography, and then I was on marketing for my sorority, so I'd kind of just do it for our exec board and that kind of stuff. But then one of my best friends asked me to take hers last spring because she graduated, and then after that I kind of just spread from there. People started seeing hers and then asking me to take theirs as well, and since then I've just decided to take it and run with it.
That's awesome. So when you're photographing on campus, what are some of the key spots to hit, and what are some of the challenges with photographing on the campus?
Yeah, so I would say the two spots everyone always wants is the blue door and then the fountain.
Yeah.
Got to get that champagne pop as well. And I'd say the hardest part, honestly, especially as we get closer to graduation, is there's just so many people taking them, so you might have to wait a little bit. Key tip, Sunday evenings are the worst.
Ooh,
If you want to be quick, Sunday evenings are the most people, so the morning weekdays are usually the most calm.
Noted.
Yeah.
Well, that is good to know. And speaking of graduation, it's coming up for you too.
Yes.
So how does it feel to be on the other side of the lens?
Yeah, it's definitely fun, like getting to share those last moments with graduates and kind of talk to them about their plans. Gives me some ideas about what I want to do post-grad, but it's really fun, but also a little bit sad to kind of just constantly be reminded that I'm going to be leaving too soon.
Yeah, and spending a lot of time with graduates and being one yourself, is there any advice that you've heard for the next chapter that you can share for us too?
We all need it right now.
I feel that. I think I would say embrace the uncertainty. I think that everyone is a little bit scared, but I think post-grad is just another opportunity like coming to college where you can kind of change what you want to do and be like kind of like a different person if you want to be, make new friends, seek out new goals, and I think that it's scary, but that you should just like see it as an opportunity.
Exactly, and you'll end up where you're meant to be.
Yes,
for sure.
I love that. I think all of us need to hear that this morning, especially as we all go off to do our own thing, whether we're staying here in Austin or moving away out of state. But thank you so much, Kylie, for joining us this morning. As fellow seniors, we wish you and everyone graduating the best of luck. If you all would like to see her latest work, check out her Instagram at Kylie Camera.
Coming up, one final farewell as us seniors say goodbye to Good Morning Longhorns and TSTV. Our last word is next.
All right, welcome back. It's hard to believe this is our last segment. The final Good Morning Longhorns for all of us here on set. Also the final of this semester.
It's just so crazy. I served as executive producer last year, and Logan has been EP this year. And from CMT red carpets to ACL festivals and more, we've all covered a lot of ground together, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think if we have the clip of the first time I was ever on the show, I had to look at the date yesterday. So kind of funny, but September 28th, 2022. It's a clip of us talking about the Texas Tribune Festival.
Yeah.
I think it was like the first story I ever did for the show, and we came on, we were talking about it. There it is, I see it now.
Yeah, I was telling Logan, like, that was the first time.
I know, I'm
first time me and Logan met, and
no biotin could bring back that amount of hair.
I felt horrible because I literally did not know what the Texas Tribune Festival was at the time, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like,
you have nothing to say.
I was it was a horrible interview. So I think it just shows how far we've come. Logan, I mean, did great, but like I was just like girl, a little bit of research could have gone a long way.
And I know we have the promo video too, Itza. I think that was one of the first times we sat together. Yeah, it's just like
and it just kills me because that promo video, it was funny because I remember when Kevin recorded it, and I like hounded him because I was like, we need to do a redo. But he was like, it's too late. This is what,
no, it came out great.
I think it looks really good.
But it's funny because now that I look back, I feel like it's a good time capsule.
Yeah,
every time I see
it is.
No, exactly.
And the dress, like,
oh my god, that red dress that used to make an appearance like every show.
That was your signature outfit.
No, y'all, that's me with this dress, this pink dress. I would wear it all the time.
That's like
full circle.
Well, it's been incredible to do this show with all of you, obviously. I think we've all had, we've had some fun, memorable early morning rides. I think even now I'm like, I definitely want to work morning somewhere, which is something I never think. Most people say that. Most people do not say that, but you guys, everybody here is a team player. We've got an incredible team, all the people who are seniors, of course, but everybody who's joined us over the last couple of years. This show is nothing in a good way of like what it was when we all first got here, because I think we've all together done an incredible job of building this show. It is night and day in a great way. We've been able to cover the coolest things. We've been in places where we were the only students to be on red carpets or at ACL, and it's been exciting to be there and make this show have its really own identity in Austin. And I always say, but we have, and as far as I'm concerned, get us better cameras, but we have the best. We have the best morning show in Austin, as far as I'm concerned, and I truly mean that. The content that we've been able to do and the places we've been able to be and the local stories we've been able to tell are just incredible, and I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of this show, and I just can't wait to see where it heads next as we watch from afar. Paulina, we know will be awake when the show is on. We don't know about the rest of us yet,
she's still keeping on that morning schedule.
But it's been incredible to do it with all of you. I've had an absolute blast, so definitely gonna miss it.
Yes, and yeah, just a little shout out for Logan. I feel like, obviously you can tell he was way more experienced than me when I had already been in the show for like a year, because I had no idea what I was talking about. But he was like so good in that interview, and he really like came in this organization and just like hit the ground running, like, made it up the ranks and really like made it to what it is now. Like, it was, especially joining my freshman year, like it was completely different. Not that it was bad, but it was so different, and you really just like revamped it and like just made it so much more, just, I don't know, so much more, have so much more heart in it.
One thing also is like, this is completely student run. I don't think people realize that. Like, I know a lot of schools have their newscasts where it's like you have a teacher that does it, and we do have Reporting Texas. We love Dr. Kate. But we have this, which is literally run by Ariba, who's back there running it right now, and Logan, and Alex, we love you.
Thank you for coming back. And as much as I would love to go over, that's all the time we have for this Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an honor, and we just love doing this show. I'm Logan Duple.
Yes, and I'm Paulina Pearson. Wait, everyone else, sign off.
I'm Lauren Peck.
I'm Gracie Kirshner.
I'm Itza Martinez.
And from Good Morning Longhorns, all of us here in the studio, thank you for joining us each Wednesday this past year and just for all the time we've been here. And we look forward to having you back this fall. Don't forget, for Campus First News, you can follow us on Instagram at Good Morning Longhorns and check out our website at tstvnews.com. Have a great Wednesday.